Bob Terwilliger here, Colorado Outfitters. Today I want to talk to you guys about one of the most common questions we get. And in fact, in my 13 years of working in the outdoor industry, this is a question that I've been posed many times, either with clients over the phone or sportsman shows or what have you. And really what it has to do with is, what kind of hunt should I go on? Of course, we've got drop camp hunts, which are unguided versus a guided hunt. And this is a very common question among first-time elk hunters. And today we're going to take an in-depth look at that. Some of the things that come into play, of course, is that, of course, cost can be a factor based on your budget. Where drop camp hunts are typically about half the price of what a guided hunt is. But before you jump to that conclusion, and perhaps also assume that hunting elk is going to be similar to other big game species that you might hunt in your home state, for example, whitetails, we think it's really important to understand, what you're signing up for with these different hunts. Because in fact, hunting elk is quite different from hunting whitetails. We're going to get into some of that. And within the video, we'll take an in-depth look at these different types of hunts, as well as take a hard look at what constitutes a good profile for a drop camp hunter in terms of the abilities that you're going to need to have, both physically and mentally, and as well as the expectations that, come along with that. So with that, let's jump into the heart of the matter and get into the difference between these two hunts and take a look at that. First, I'd like to talk about our guided hunts. I'm going to take you guys through what's included with them, as well as some expectations that we have on you as our hunters. Of course, as you would expect, these guided hunts are going to include the pack service both in and out of the backcountry on horseback or mule to our remote wilderness camps. This also includes, of course, packing any game out that you might have harvested during the week. In general, all hunting is done on foot out of these remote locations. You can expect to find a complete wilderness camp when you get to your hunting location, consisting of a wall tent with a wood stove, cots and foam pads for everybody to sleep on. There'll be a 2-burner hot plate to cook on, propane lanterns, and basically everything that's needed to prepare meals and from a kitchen standpoint will be back there in these camps. We'll provide you guys with 3 meals a day. 2 of those will be hot, of course, that being breakfast and dinner. Lunches are going to be a sack lunch, some type of sandwich, fresh fruit, cookies, chips, things of that nature. We'll provide 1 experienced guide with knowledge of the hunting area for every 2 hunters, unless you paid for a one-on-one hunt. These guides are going to handle all the cooking and camp chores for you, including gathering, cutting firewood, water purification. If in fact guys want to chip in and help, certainly not expected, but it is welcome. You kill a buck or a bull, the guide's going to take care of getting that animal processed for you in terms of getting him skinned, quartered, caped, if you're wanting to get the animal mounted, hung up in a tree, and in some cases it also may mean, packing those quarters to an area that's going to be accessible to the packers with mules. Sometimes we kill bulls or bucks, in areas where we can't get the mules to them, and the guys are going to load those quarters on a freight-to-frame pack and get them out to an area where they can be packed out. In terms of what do we expect from you guys, of course, we do expect you to come in the best shape possible. You don't need to be a world-class athlete, but coming, in the best shape is going to allow you to enjoy your hunt more, number one, and also hunt harder, thereby increasing your chances to take that nice buck or that nice bull. You want to hone your shooting skills. And I'm not only talking about zeroing in your rifle or your bow at known distances, but getting out and doing some shooting in real hunting positions, as well as shooting your weapons at odd distances so you know where your bow or rifle shoots, at these distances. And then last but not least, come with a positive attitude, ready to work hard each day. That positive attitude can mean the difference when that moment of truth arises and that bull or buck steps out. You're going to be best prepared to take advantage of it. Next up, I'd like to talk about our drop camp hunts, or unguided hunts. I'm going to take you through what's included with these,
as well as the expectations that we have on our drop camp hunters. So first up, very similar to our guided hunts, with our unguided hunts, you get the pack service in and out of the backcountry to our remote wilderness camps on horseback and mule, to get you and all your supplies and gear into these remote camps. This also includes packing out any game that you may harvest during the week. Of course, you get use of our complete wilderness camps. As I described within our guided hunts, the one key difference here, though, of course, is you bring your own food, as I'll talk a little bit more about in a moment. Getting on to the real meat of the matter, what do we expect out of our drop camp hunters? What are you guys are going to be able to handle or need to be able to handle and be capable of on your own? First and foremost, it's really important that you're physically and mentally capable and comfortable with camping, hunting, and navigating in the wilderness on your own. I can't stress that point enough. Of course, you're going to bring all your own food and supplies as it relates to your meals. You're going to be responsible for all camp chores. This includes gathering and cutting your own firewood, going and retrieving your own water to be purified. We'll provide the tools for this work, like the saw and the water purification system, but again, incumbent upon you to do the work there. We'll also provide an outhouse chair at these camps and a shovel to dig your own outhouse hole. At the end of your hunt, you're expected to cover that hole and put the chair and the shovel back at camp for the next group. Should you guys harvest any game, it'll be incumbent upon you to get them processed on your own, specifically getting them skinned and quartered and hung up. If you need to cape them, cape them. And last but not least, if you kill the bull in an area where we're not going to be able to get the mules to it, you'll need to use the freighter frame packs in camp to pack those quarters to an area where the packers can come in with mules and get them out and get it packed out to the trailhead for you. So that sums up our drop camp hunts. So we've taken a look at both our guided hunts and our drop camp hunts. And now let's take a look at a summary that really compares these side by side to make sure that you guys understand the difference. Of course, in both cases, you're getting the pack service in and out of camp. You're getting the complete wilderness camp. But again, with our guided hunts, of course, you're getting the guide, that knows the area. You're getting your meals, and you're getting that guide to also handle any game that you may have in terms of getting it ready to be packed out. When we get down into the lower section of this chart, is really what's important again for you drop camp hunters or those considering a drop camp to make sure that you're thoroughly comfortable with in terms of being able to be back in the wilderness by yourself, both hunting and navigating, and also the work associated with it. Some guys enjoy this, but it's just really important to understand that this is what you're signing up for. So hopefully this gives you a good overview between these two different hunts so that it will help you make the right decision that's going to work out for you and perhaps the other guys in your group. So the next thing I'd like to do is really hone in on the profile of what we consider the ideal drop camp hunter. And when I talk about this, I'm really talking about guys that have never hunted in a drop camp before, but are seriously considering it. Again, to make sure that you're comfortable with the types of things that you're going to need to do on your own in the wilderness, to both ensure your safety as well as ensure that you're going to have a good time and this is really what you want to do. I talked about the fact that being capable, comfortable, and even enjoying being in the wilderness by yourself is something that you like to do. Of course, keeping in mind that at times, even in the archery season, things can turn pretty serious winter here in the Colorado backcountry. And, there could be circumstances where if we got a lot of snow, maybe we can't come get you on the exact day we had planned. You might be in there an extra day or so. So having the mindset that those kinds of things are okay. You know, our preference would be that one of the drop camp hunters has hunted elk before and, you know, understands how to hunt them. You know, hunting elk is different than hunting other species, a big game, for example, like whitetails. And really, to ensure your success, having somebody with that experience is going to give you guys a better chance to harvest an elk in particular. I'm not saying it's impossible that you couldn't otherwise, but just pointing to the facts. Really important that you enjoy the work and physical challenge of camping and hunting on your own. It's a lot of work back there, just getting out and hiking every day, and then the chores around camp, you know, certainly add to that. You know, being physically capable of handling an elk, you know, when it's on the ground in terms of getting it skinned and quartered and hung up in a tree, you know, very important that you're up to that task, and getting those quarters, if need be, to a location that's accessible by the packers and with the mules. You know, and last but not least, ideally, we like to see our drop camps, you know, with a group of 4, if possible. It just seems to work out well. You know, there's an opportunity to share in the work that way. And it's also, you know, best for us running in and out of these remote camps. If we've got 4 guys, you know, it's better utilization of our time too. So just something to think about there. So hopefully that gives you a real good understanding of, you know, what's expected, you know, in terms of, you know, being able to hunt in these drop camps on your own. And it's something you like to do. You're certainly going to have a good time, and these camps are in some of our best hunting areas, so no worries about that. So I've talked a lot about both guided hunts and drop camp hunts. And in the interest of starting to wrap this up, you know, I want to give you guys some recommendations from our end. You know, we're certainly willing to discuss these things with you more, but just some things to think about as you really plan your hunt and figure out what's going to be best for you. You know, first, I'd like to say pick a hunt that meets your ability and your comfort level, whether that means, you know, a guided hunt or a drop camp hunt. Really important. That's going to ensure that you have the best time. You know, if it's your first elk hunt, I'm going to strongly suggest that you consider a guided hunt to learn the ropes, so to speak. I'm not saying that first-time elk hunters can't be successful on their own, but your chances are going to be better with a guided hunt, and you're going to learn how to hunt elk and likely have a better time, too, the first time. I've had this discussion with hunters many times over the years, and I can tell you those that followed this recommendation really came back and told me that they made the right decision, and we're glad that they did. And many of those, by the way, went on to be successful drop camp hunters once they kind of learned what they were doing. You know, of course, if you don't meet the profile of a drop camp hunter, I'm going to tell you right up front, you know, you're more than likely going to be spending your hard-earned money on what's going to be more of a survival test than a hunt. Just being honest with you guys, you know, it's a great time. There's a lot of self-satisfaction in going and doing an unguided hunt, but you better be able to, you know, measure up to the work because it will test you. And then really, regardless of what hunt you choose, you know, there's 3 things here that, you know, I talked about earlier, I'm going to hit again. You know, make the commitment to come in the best shape possible. Again, you don't need to be a world-class athlete, but you're going to have a better time if you come out here in good shape. You know, if you need to lose a few pounds, do that. Do a little bit of training, and you're just going to have a better time and increase your chances for success. Do your homework at the range. Hone your shooting skills as best you can. It's only going to help you in terms of building confidence and help you execute on that shot opportunity when and if it arises. And then the last one, of course, I can't stress enough. Come with a positive attitude, including being mentally prepared for this. You know, there's no doubt that terrain and altitude is going to test you, but come with the right attitude, you're going to have a good time. Elk hunting can be work, no doubt about it. but with persistence and the right positive attitude where, again, every time you step out of that camp, you've got the mindset that that bull or that buck is going to step in front of you, and you're thinking about being ready to execute that shot. That can really make a difference, when that opportunity does arise, and be the difference between filling your tag or not. And then a final point for you drop camp hunters that I see this mistake made over and over again. One of the toughest challenges in elk hunting sometimes can be just locating the elk. There's a lot of country out there, and they travel great distances. It's a far cry from whitetail hunting. So, the hardest part can definitely be locating them. So once you locate them, especially during the archery season and sometimes even into the early rifle, you can hunt them for several days if you're careful not to run them out of the country. Really important point here, there's always the next morning or the next afternoon, if you've located them, can't quite get to them, or the wind is wrong, back out and go back when things are right, and chances are they're still going to be there for you, and you'll get a chance to fill your tag.
So in closing this up, really hopeful that this video provides you guys a better understanding of our guided hunts as well as our drop camp hunts, in the interest of helping you decide what's going to be the right hunt for you. In the end, it's really important to pick the hunt that meets your interests, but at the same time, making sure that whatever hunt you choose matches your ability. We're here to make sure that you guys have a good time and a good hunt. We're committed to do that, in the interest of hopefully you guys coming to see us again. But again, really important that you make sure that you understand exactly what you're signing up for with these hunts. A final comment I'd like to make is that if you are coming to hunt with us this fall or in the future, we do have another series of videos focused on what to bring and how to pack, both out on our YouTube page as well as on our Facebook page and our website. So I really encourage you guys to go out and have a look at those too, because they're going to help you prepare for your hunt. So with that, that's it for this one, and hope to see you guys this fall. Take care.